Only 1 week after we crossed the Simpson Desert east-west via the Madigan line, we are heading off again to accompany Dan Wood for a few days on a west-east cross-country Simpson Desert traverse via Geosurveys Hill and the supposed Geographical Centre of the Simpson Desert. Dan will spend nearly 14 days in the desert, and we will part with him on day 7 due to commitments on our end. A lot of the driving on this trip will be cross-country without tracks, which is vastly different from your standard crossing via formed path. We taking the Bins track from Alice Springs and then heading towards the McClark Conservation Area and the East Boar to enter the Simpson Desert. A dead camel at the side of the road is a stark reminder that this is an unforgiving country. Especially if you go cross-country, you need to be very well prepared and have very well prepared vehicles. I filmed that Scotty is popular because he bought a screen dome for flies, and I guess he's currently making up his charging scheme also. Got to be in his good books to get into the fly tent.
Yeah.
Because the flies are, I reckon, worse than on our way in here. Yeah. Oh, that's a good little.
Filming my back.
Just doing the final adjustments now for the desert pressure. Or final, we will see, but for the time being. So I'm going down now to 15.5. 15.5 in the rear and front. And yeah, that's fairly low for the cruiser with that weight. After a reasonable long day driving, we found ourselves a little camp spot not far away from Madigan's camp number 5. It's quite amazing in the desert. It's 8:30 now in the morning, and until around 8:15, no flies, no wind. So the flies go fairly late in the evening. Yeah, just really when it starts to get dark, not just at sundown. And the wind stops around 7 o'clock, and the whole night you have zero wind, zero noise. And then in the morning until 8:15, you also have flyless, no wind time, so the best time in my eyes in the morning. And yeah, 8:20, the wind starts coming up and the flies appear. Easy really to spot the wildlife in the desert. These are camel tracks though. They are right next to our campfire. It's a native bush tomato, which used to be a main source of food for the indigenous community. Very bitter inside, so you supposedly scoop the inside out and then just eat the outside, the skin. The Solanum family contains a few different species. Some are edible, but some are highly poisonous, so I would not advise eating them unless you can identify the edible version 100%. Scotty knew that his exhaust system was on the way out, so he bought some muffler tape, which he applied here.
Looks like I've got a bit of a oil leak on the rear main too.
With Scotty's dump pipe bandaged, we headed on towards Geosurveys Hill. If you look, I mean these here, I don't know whether you can see that. That's pretty much a little flower just coming out of the earth. It's quite amazing. After cresting one of the dunes, we see 4 jerry cans standing right on the side of the track. So we jump out and further investigate. And it turns out that 3 of the jerry cans are pretty much empty. One is 1/3 full of petrol. And it looks like the jerry cans just have been left there. So we did a little bit of forensic exploration and found a big hole up in the sand dune where the jerry cans must have been buried, and then were unburied and used and just left there. The vehicle who placed the jerry cans there and the motorbikes who retrieved them traveled east-west. There were no notes left. There was nothing really which would indicate that they would be picked up at a later stage. We hadn't seen any other party the day before or which would have passed us during the night. We decided to take the jerrys and dispose of them, as we didn't want to have them standing as rubbish in the desert. So if you have a support vehicle coming which picks up your jerrys, make sure you have them clearly labelled so that anyone passing by knows what's going to happen with their jerrys. Dan has a good little trick, which is also new to me.
So I have my little salad bag from the local supermarket, and I want to keep this as long as possible. So I've discovered over time, if I get a piece of paper toweling, fold it in half, put it in, nice and flat, and then roll the bag up from the closed end to the open end so it squeezes out the air. Roll him up nice and fairly tight, back a band over the top, and Bob's your uncle. So the paper towel absorbs the excess moisture and the lacquer band has just helped squeeze the air out, and this will normally now probably last 5-6 days.
When you drive through the desert, I can only recommend to stop often and jump out of your vehicle often. Many people think, okay, it's sand dune after sand dune, it's always the same. But really, when you jump out and explore a little bit, you'll find that there is a lot of things to see, especially if you're interested in little creatures, plants, and so on. See these paddy melons here. They really range in size. There are, I think, 3 different varieties. However, none of that varieties is edible. So I thought I collected one here, cut it open for you to have a look how they look inside. Keep in mind they are not edible, and they supposedly cause severe diarrhea. So it's really a pity because there are a lot of them there, and you find them in sandy, arid areas really. Often in the middle of the trek or the side of the trek, but very bitter, and again not edible, poisonous. Pity. Anyway, that's how they look. As you smell already, they really do not smell inviting, that's for sure. Somewhere the Simpson Desert on the way to Geosurveys Hill, on top of a dune. Sunset over there, sunrise over there, cold Pacific radler. Can't get any better. Beautiful.
Right, so here's our trusty camper's best friend, the Jaffa Lion, that side down. So I just use this spray, just give it a quick spray so the bread doesn't stick. So one piece of bread goes in and then you kind of just press him down. Ooh, so he makes a bowl, and then you get your little bit of bacon. Chop him up to size so it fits in nice and neat, and then a liberal dosage of hot tomato chutney, so that just gives you the right kick to get you going in the morning. Egg, one little one. The other thing I noticed with these things, which you buy in any camp shop, is they don't really hold anything bigger than a 600 gram egg, so if you try and stick a 700 or 800 in there, it'll end up breaking the shells. a liberal dose, of course, because it's awesome. Put the lid on, close him up, trim off the outside, otherwise it'll go all black. It's just do with a knife. Usually do this down by the fire so I can just drop the crust in and you're kind of ready to go. I'm just trimming off the excess bread into the fire, which you don't have to do, and I guess a lot of people don't, but it'll go very black, and I'm a bit of a neat freak, so I think that's a German in me. And there we go, good to go. Find yourself a nice patch of coals, and I reckon the trick is, and it did take me quite a long time to master this, I always ended up being burnt and black, and that is you can't turn it often enough, so just keep turning and checking. And don't get...
There we go like that.
How is it, Scotty?
Sensational.
This is the last dune before Geosurvey Hill. Dan got a bit stuck and gives it a second attempt. Next in line is Scotty then with the Patrol and myself with the Cruiser. We make the final approach to Geosurvey Hill, which was discovered in 1964 by Rex Briggs while making his first south-north motorized crossing of the Simpson Desert. It is a very isolated and remote location and has not too many visitors. On top is still the cairn which Rex Briggs built in 1964. So guys, we're here at Geosurvey Hill, and one of the most common questions always is, what tire pressure do you run? While there is no general rule for tire pressure, because it really depends on quite a few factors: your tire size, your rim diameter, your vehicle, how much load you carry. I thought we're gonna give you a quick idea what we all run. Scotty?
16 psi in the rear, just below it actually, and I'm running 14 in front.
I'm running 16 in the rear as well, and about 18 in front.
I'm running 14.5 in the rear and 13.5 in the front. Now we head into uncharted terrain, quite likely no tracks, so we air down appropriately to make that crossings of the dunes a bit easier.
Not only that, but there's a good chance of hitting objects such as old tree roots and things like that, or tree stems sticking out, so the lower pressures just allows the tyre to conform over those instead of sort of puncturing into the tyre, hopefully.
Yeah, just imagine a balloon fully inflated, very easy to puncture. If it's not much air in, you can squeeze it how you want and it won't pop. Very good point. Anyway, so
that's lucky because you're the official tyre changer.
Am I? Mm-hmm. Shit. This is my first sand trip with the Nitto trail grapplers. So far I'm pretty pleased. They need lower pressures than the KM2s, but the added strength in the sidewall is a trade-off I'm happy to wear. It's a small stick embedded, but that's in there for a while now, Scotty, yeah? Hasn't leaked.
No. Doesn't drop pressure at all.
Thanks a lot for watching part 1 of our cross-country Simpson adventure. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share the video. Part 2 of this series will be out in 2 weeks. Check out the video and see whether this breakage stops us in our tracks or whether we make it to the Geological Centre of the Simpson Desert.